This is a homemade basketball hoop that cost $1,000 to make. And in this video, we will be building a bunch of insane homemade basketball hoops, but they are going to increasingly get more expensive, starting all the way down at the $1 homemade basketball hoop. Let's check it out. This is a $1 basketball hoop made completely out of cardboard. For $1, honestly, this is quite the bargain, honestly. Obviously, this hoop is, pretty pathetic, but don't worry. Later in the video, we're going to be building some insane homemade hoops. But yeah, obviously for the $1 hoop, I only had $1 to build this. That's why, it's not that cool looking. With that being said though, for each of the 7 homemade hoops that we check out in this video, I'm going to have to complete a trick shot on the hoop before I can move on to the next one. So with that being said, I have the hoop set up right there. Obviously, I'm not allowed to use any tape or nails to, put it up on the wall, because obviously that'll cost more than $1. So I prop it up next to my lawnmower. With that being said, I'm using a rock as the basketball, because rocks are free. And I'm going to make a no look backward shot on it as the trick shot. Shouldn't be too hard. After about 20 shots, we finally drained it. Let's check out the next hoop. Homemade hoop. And we have now made it to the $10 homemade hoop. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. A bucket. As you can see on Amazon, this white bucket is exactly $9.99. I know you guys are probably thinking that these first 2 hoops are really lame and stuff like that, but cut me some slack, you know what I mean? Obviously, I can't make an insanely cool homemade hoop for only 10 bucks. Later in the video, when we check out the more expensive homemade hoops, the $200 one, $500 one, the $1,000 one, obviously those hoops are going to be way more epic looking and creative looking since they have a bigger budget to spend on those hoops. With that being said, I'm kind of just yapping on about nothing. Let's focus back onto the $10 hoop. There we go. As you can see, the $10 hoop is all the way down there. I'm going to drain a deep 3 on it. Anyway guys, that is it for the $10 hoop. It is now time we step up the price a little bit, because for this next hoop I now have a $50 budget to build an epic homemade hoop. So for the $50 basketball hoop, I'm actually going to show you guys the process of me building it, because it's actually going to be super simple and really creative to build, you know what I'm saying? So basically the ingredients you're going to need for this hoop is a coat hanger and a large pizza. We actually don't need the actual pizza for this, so you can just buy the pizza and then eat the whole pizza. We're only going to be needing the box. But you simply just bend the rim, aka the hanger, bend it as close as you can to a perfect circle, and then just, stab it in the box. There we go. Here we have the $50 homemade basketball hoop. Honestly, for creativity, I'll give it a solid 10 out of 10. But for functionality and performance, about a 1 out of 10. It's insanely flimsy, this is pathetic almost. Let's toss it on the wall and take some shots on it. Okay, the hoop is officially hanged up on the wall. For $50, I feel like I definitely could have built a much better hoop. It is creative though, so I'll give it that. That was the $50 homemade hoop, and it is now time to double my budget, because we're now going to be building a $100 homemade hoop. I'm going to get really creative with this one. I have a good idea of what I'm going to do too. This one should be pretty fun to build. So yeah, I'm going to build it real quick, and I'll catch you guys when I'm done with it. Here is the $100 homemade hoop. As you can see, it's a little silly looking, but let me explain. The base is a ladder, obviously. Then I have a fishing net, which is obviously the rim. And for the backboard, I have some weird mat thing that kind of folds, and I use it to fold both sides to balance it out, you know what I mean? So for the prices, the ladder was about 50 bucks-ish. Fishing net is about 20 bucks. And then the mat on top is about 30 bucks. Which, you do the math, 50 plus 20 plus 30, 100. There we go. This is actually the first basketball hoop on this entire list that I can use an actual size basketball to play on. So this should be pretty fun. I'm using the Dime 1 basketball, actually. If you want to buy this ball, use code Oliver for 10% off. But yeah, I'm going for a half-court shot. You know me, I'm obviously going to drain it. To make this shot, you got to drop a like. We just shook on it, now you have to. Perch it off the top of the backboard. If I miss this shot, you can literally comment a hate comment, you know what I mean? Roast me as much as you can. Only if I miss though, you know what I mean? Hey, I made it at least. So yeah, the only downside about this hoop is that every time you make a shot, it kind of breaks. I think it's now time for a little dunk, you know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, we have now officially reviewed 4 of the basketball hoops on this list, and we now just have 3 more homemade hoops to go. These final 3 are obviously going to be the best ones. I have a $200 homemade hoop to build, a $500 homemade hoop to build, and then finally the big $1,000 homemade hoop to build. pretty expensive budgets. I'm definitely gonna be able to build some pretty insane hoops with that type of money. So with that being said, let's head on to the $200 homemade basketball hoop. This one might surprise you. Yeah. This is the $200 homemade basketball hoop. And I know you guys are probably getting ready to exit full screen, dislike the video, and then close the video and never watch my YouTube videos ever again. Before you do all that, just calm down, let me explain. Obviously, by the looks of it, this hoop does not look like it's $200. Basically, this hoop was actually in one of my most recent videos, this one. In that video, I mentioned that it's actually an exact replica of the first type of basketball hoop ever created. I am a bit skeptical if this counts as a homemade hoop because I actually didn't build it at my home. So like, it wasn't made at my home. I guess that means it's not homemade. I don't know what I'm even talking about. It was made by somebody at their home. If I'm confusing you, sorry, I'm confusing myself as well. The reason it's $200 is obviously not for like the performance of it, you know what I mean? And like the fancy like stuff about it. It's $200 because of the antiqueness and like the old time fashion, you know what I mean? That type of stuff. It's like the type of thing that you would hang on your wall and like, you know, look at every night. I don't know. I kind of want to destroy the whole hoop because I don't really like it that much. I don't really want to look at this hoop anymore. It just makes me mad. $200 down the drain. Here goes nothing, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to recreate that dunk that Shaq just did. There we go. Rip the rim off. Anyway, it is now time to get serious, you know what I'm saying? We're going to now build a $500 homemade basketball hoop. I'm gonna make it as epic as possible, make it as like fancy looking as possible, and just make it crazy, you know what I'm saying? And then for the $1,000 hoop, I have a crazy plan for that one. Stay tuned for that $1,000 one because it's gonna be crazy. But before we get to that, like I mentioned before, it is time to build a $500 homemade basketball hoop. Let's do it. Here is the next homemade hoop. This one is honestly definitely my favorite. I know some of you may be saying like this one also isn't really homemade because as you saw the rim, I obviously, you know, didn't craft it myself. I have to admit, I did steal it off one of my other mini hoops. This homemade hoop is very, very epic. Like I said, it's definitely my favorite one. Definitely my best performance so far in building these mini hoops. Not mini hoops, homemade hoops. Alrighty. For the trick shot challenge, we're actually not going to be doing a trick shot for this one because I feel like that's getting kind of lame. I'm going to be doing a dunk contest, and you guys are going to vote on which one you think is the best. You don't have to comment which one you think is the best. You can just say the answer in your head or something. Say it out loud, you know, tell your mom the answer. Just, I don't know. Do the first dunk. Second dunk. Third dunk. And finally, the fourth dunk. And there we have it. Out of all four of those dunks, let me know which one you think is the best. I mean, personally, I don't know, they were all pretty epic. Anyway, guys, we'll get one final look at the hoop. Now, man, definitely the best looking hoop I've built so far today. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, before we move on to the next hoop, I feel like I should mention something real quick. As you saw, the $500 homemade hoop was like an Oliver Cole theme, you know what I mean? It had my logo as the background. Lately, I've been doing some, you know, skeptical thinking. What would you guys think if I were to make my own mini hoop company, like sell like my own type of mini basketball hoops? I feel like I could make one look really epic though, and make like a really sturdy, epic wall mounted mini hoop. Something similar to one of these hoops. But yeah, if y'all want to see that, let me know. Anyway, I'm kind of just blabbering on. Back to the main point of this video. We have now built 6 homemade basketball hoops. We started off with the $1 budget, then worked our way up to $10, then $50, then $100, and $200, and $500. It is now time to move on to the final homemade hoop, aka the $1,000 homemade basketball hoop. This basketball hoop is going to be much different than any other hoop on this list. But I'm going to build this epic hoop, and I'll catch you guys when it's officially finished. Ladies and gentlemen, after an insanely long time of work, I've officially finally completed the $1,000 homemade hoop. Now, all I'm gonna say, don't get your hopes up. I'm looking at it right now. In my head, I envisioned it to look insanely epic looking. Turned out to look kind of silly looking. Looks like a 5-year-old built it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I attempted to make like a giant basketball hoop, and yeah, my expectations were a little high on what I thought it would look like. It is honestly really creative though, I'll give it that. The base is like the base of a trampoline, except I took all the springs off of the trampoline. Here's a video of the trampoline in case you're wondering. And I tossed it on 2 ladders, tossed some beach towels up there, make the net. Yeah, the backboard, I mean, the back of the barn. I guess the only thing left to do is, you know, take some shots on it. we have it.